Let's head onto the circuit. So onto the track we head then with the seniors, and the way they line up for this first senior heat with Groups A against Group B. It's going to have on pole position number 248 Mark Kimber. Did the best job yesterday. It was originally Ben Waldred who grabbed the time, but his time was then disallowed. So Mark Kimber, the quickest man from qualifying, with the two groups joined together. Joe Van Splunteren is the man who starts on the outside of the front row. Back on row 2, a great qualifying from Thana Pongpan Satumnu. He's got Ollie Clark for company on that second row. Back on row 3, we then have Patrick Degenbeck with Della Arahawi on the outside. Row 4 lines up with Nicholas Bart and Jan-Philip Springup. Row 5 then has Jordan Brown Nutley, not the best of qualifyings, but he went very well in the wet conditions this morning in warm-up. But what can he do from 9th on the grid? He's got Ida Cohen for company alongside. Row 6 lines up with Felix Vargate and Patrick Kibble on row 6. Row 7 is then going to be Niels Coolen with Manaf Hijawi. Row 8 then sees João Ferreira with Ethan Hawkey, and row number 9 lines up with Marius Solly Paulsen and Ewan Long to round out the 18 starters for this senior heat. Working their way around this second warm-up lap. Again, not too sure what tyres they've gone with. Have any been brave enough to go for slicks? I think most of them, in fact, have, by the looks of it. Have the front runners taken a gamble as well to go with slick tyres? We'll have to wait and see as the anticipating crowd looks on here this weekend at the Sette Laghe circuit in sunshine now, which is always great to say here in Italy, one of my favourite places to come. Always a great round to be part of. Normally we do this round sometime around May in very hot conditions, but this year we've got the final rounds here in what are mixed conditions and not as warm as we normally see, but still a great weekend in store at this fabulous circuit with the backdrop of the lakes, the Sette Laghe circuit, the 7 lakes which surround this circuit here as always. So we are very shortly set to go then. 11 laps for the seniors as the carts bring themselves through the final couple of corners. Front row starting to line up with Mark Kimber and Joey Van Splunteren on the front row, with Thana Pongpan Satumnu and Ollie Clark there on row number 2. Again, through the grid hatchings they'll go, and it's up to Thomas Liner to get this race underway as they peer through the final corner. A lot of smoke from our poleman there, Mark Kimber, but we are underway then with this senior heat as they blast down towards the first corner. It's Mark Kimber who gets the job done up into the first corner in the lead. Running wide there though was Thana Pongpan Satumnu. He ran slightly wide and he had dropped himself now down to about 4th or 5th place on the run through the first couple of corners. So he works his way then on towards the right-hander at turn number 6. Out front for the time being though is a great battle between Mark Kimber and Joey Van Splunteren, who are trying to battle themselves and sort themselves into a great formation as they head off that back straight and down towards the hairpin at turn number 8. Let's see if there's going to be any further change between the top two as they work their way then through the left-hander. Mark Kimber still leads. Joey Van Splunteren looking to get the job done on the inside line, but he stays there in second place for the time being. Third place behind them, try and pick out the battle there, which is ongoing at the minute. I think Ollie Clark's up there in cart 251. He's had a good start from row number 2, and then Thana Pongpan Satumnu there or thereabouts, still within inside the top 5 after his mistake at the first corner. But through they go, lap 1 completed, and out front, as we said, it's Mark Kimber that leads the way. Second place for Joey Van Splunteren. Third place is 251, which is Ollie Clark. Fourth place, and starting to close him down now, is Patrick Degenbeck. Fifth place for the 298 machine of Dalla Arahawi. Great battle pack going through there, just outside the top 10, I can tell you, off screen. Thana Pongpan Satumnu's there in 6th after his problems at turn 1. Then is Jan-Philip Springup in 7th place. 8th place going to be that of Ida Cohen. 9th place for Jordan Brown Nutley. So Jordan's made up no places from his starting position. He stays there just ahead of Niels Coolen in 10th place at the end of that first lap. So we're now already around the halfway stage of this next lap, and still out front Mark Kimber leading by 0.4 of a second, being pushed hard all the time by Joey Van Splunteren. This is the fight for 4th on backwards, which is Patrick Degenbeck, but there's a long line here. All of the leaders pretty much together as they head again down towards the first corner. On the exit of that corner, they then work their way in towards the right and left flick of turns 3 and 4. Still focusing on this battle though for 5th on backwards, which involves Dalla Arahawi. Dalla's not done too bad. He started 6th on the grid, so he's up into 5th place already. There's the machine of 217 working his way down the back straight. And off the straight they go and in towards the right-hander. That's right towards the back, in fact, with Marius Solly Paulsen. As we turn our attention back to our third place man, which is Ollie Clark. And look how quick Ollie's now going, almost with Joey Van Splunteren. Can he make a move towards the end of this lap? Probably still not close enough, but he's gradually getting there bit by bit. So watch out for the fight for second, which is just going to be a little bit of light relief now for Mark Kimber to try and pull away. He was half a second ahead, and the line this time is now 0.4 of a second ahead. So Joey Van Splundteren got a good exit from the final corner. The M Sport machine in third place of Ollie Clark doing really, really well. As we said, one of our championship contenders this weekend. He sits in second place behind Brett Ward by 13 points. And talking of Brett Ward, he is not in this race, he's in the next race we see. So Brett has got the next race to look forward to. Ethan Hawkey, the quickest man on circuit, 53.227. So definitely now getting back to the pace we saw in qualifying. We are almost there. It was a 50-second lap time for the seniors. So track conditions definitely improving. As down the inside line goes the 235 machine and making a move to get through. That is Ida Cohen up past the number 241 machine of Jan-Philipp Springub. So they all go 3 wide now on the exit. On his contact there, up in the air went the 235 machine of Ida Cohen, and he made contact there with his teammate, which is the 244 machine of Jordan Brown-Nutley, trying to squeeze his way through. So Jordan won't be too happy about that, and he's trying his best in the Dan Holland racing machine to get past, but Ida Cohen being a big block at the minute. But Jordan Brown-Nutley needs the places here to be in with a chance of clinching the championship this weekend. Mark Kimber, quickest man on circuit, 52.830 on that last time round. And Mark now just trying to edge away again from Joey Van Splundteren, but it's not working because Joey's still right there, just 0.3 of a second back as the top 3 work their way through the flick-flack of turns 8 and 9. Down towards the hairpin at turn 10 they head, all slightly wide there from Joey Van Splundteren, just catching a bit of the wet stuff on the inside of the hairpin. But still on the tail of Mark Kimber on the exit of the next hairpins. Down towards the final couple of corners they now come. Mark Kimber all over the curb, and a great run and a great exit from the corner there from Joey Van Splundteren. So he's put a bit of time between him and Ollie Clark. They close right down now on our race leader Mark Kimber as they turn their way in towards the first couple of corners once more. Gap that time comes down again to 0.3 of a second between Kimber and Van Splundteren. Third place still that of Ollie Clark. Fourth place for Patrick Degenbeck. Fifth place sees Thanapongpan Sutumnu. Then behind them in sixth place is Dalla Al-Rahawi. Jan-Philipp Springub is in seventh. Jordan Brown-Nutley has finally got past his teammate of Ida Cohen up into seventh position. In fact, eighth position. Ida Cohen down to ninth, and Felix Vargate rounds out your top 10 at the end of that fifth lap. Leaders again turning their way off the hairpin at turn number 10. Working their way through very nicely, but look at Joey Van Splundteren now so close to the back of Mark Kimber. Can he find a way through at the start of this next lap? A great run through the final corner, so here they come to complete the next lap, and Joey Van Splundteren is going to try and get the job done at turn 1. You can just see there as well, hanging off the side of Mark Kimber's car, is that a drinks bottle or some sort of liquid that shouldn't be flailing like that? So it's just a little bit of a nuisance for Mark Kimber at the minute to have that bit of equipment hanging off the side of the car. I don't think it's slowing him down too much as Mark Kimber and Joey Van Splundteren make the run down towards the right-hander at turn 7. So off the back straight they go. Niels Coolen now the quickest man on circuit at 52.158. So he is down in, where's Niels Coolen? He's down in 13th place. So quite a way back, but still one of the quickest men on circuit. Leaders again through the hairpins. Down towards turn 11 they now go. And Mark Kimber surely feeling pressure now from behind. Joey Van Splundteren just 0.2 of a second adrift as they come to completion of lap number 7. All over the curb once again here, but Joey Van Splundteren is trying his absolute best to get through. But Mark Kimber just having the straight line speed there, keeps himself ahead at turn number 1 and 2. Third place still Ollie Clark. Fourth place for Patrick Degenbeck. Fifth place for Thanapongpan Sutumnu. And Dalla Al-Rahawi still sits there in 6th place as Jordan Brown-Nutley has made up yet another position. He's now into 7th place. So the kart working well for him. He's got the right tyres on as well as Jordan Brown-Nutley. He now sits there in 7th place. Next man on the list to try and close down is going to be Dalla Al-Rahawi, who is almost 2 seconds down the road. He's got work to do, but let's see if he can get there before the checker flag comes out. As the leaders turn their way through the hairpin again at turn number 10. Through turn 11 they go. Is this battle in between the top 2 starting to hold them up? Because Ollie Clark is around about a second adrift. Last time round at the line he was 1.2 seconds back. So Mark Kimber and Joey Van Splundteren continuing to battle. Ollie Clark just getting a little bit closer in 3rd place as they head through the first corner. The M Sport machine doing very well at the minute of Ollie Clark. A good result this weekend and in this race particularly will put him in good stead for the pre-final tomorrow. So Ollie Clark in 3rd, Patrick Degenbeck still 4th, and Thanapongpan Sutumnu, after his problems at turn number 1, he is still there with inside the top 5 places. So he's not going to be too disappointed, but he was ousted wide at the first turn, and he's had work to do from the start of this race. But for now, top two, still doing well. Now starting to edge a gap over Ollie Clark, who's 1.1 seconds adrift on this lap already. I just don't think Joe Van Splinteren can find a way through. He's tried his absolute hardest, but Mark Kimber, a great challenger here. And he's putting up a good defence as well as they go through to complete lap number 9. On to lap 10 we now head. Still very close between the top two as they run their way in towards turns 3 and 4. It's going to take one very small mistake, and it could well happen considering there's still a little bit of wetness on the circuit, although now a massive dry line starting to appear, and that's being shown by Joe Van Splinteren, who set the quickest lap of the race of 51.609. In qualifying yesterday, we saw a time from the quickest man, which was Mark Kimber, of a 50.3. So we're now, at the minute, about a second off that. So not too bad at all from these guys in these still damp conditions. You can see the dampness there as they work their way through turn number 10. That is the fight going on from 4th on backwards, which is Patrick Degenbeck, Thana Pangponsa Tumnu, Dalaral Rahawi, Jordan Brown Nutley is in there as well. Let's see if Jordan can make up any further places in the closing stages as we now head on to the final lap of this first senior heat of the day. I think Joe Van Splinteren is going to have one attack somewhere on this last lap. He's looking very racy now, is Joe Van Splinteren. He just built himself up, he's got himself in the best possible position, and let's see if he can make a move somewhere towards the end of the lap. He's not going to do it at the back straight, he's not quite close enough on the run through turn number 6. So again, he's going to have to wait his time to make the move, but he's getting ever closer. If this all goes wrong, then Ollie Clark is going to be the man to pick up the pieces. But for now, top two run down to the last couple of corners. Joe Van Splinteren second. First place at the minute is Mark Kimber. And has there been a change? Well, Mark Kimber slow on the exit of the corner. Ollie is going to have to watch out and see what happens ahead of him as Joe Van Splinteren comes through in second place. Can he get the charge to the line? I don't think he can. Mark Kimber's going to win the first senior race of the day here in Italy as he comes through to take the spoils. He does it by just over a tenth of a second, and I think that's how close the championship is going to be this weekend as well between the front runners. But a great job there as the rest of the field comes through. Mark Kimber is the first senior winner of the day after qualifying on pole position. He wins by just over a tenth of a second ahead of Joe Van Splinteren. Third place then goes to the next of the Brits, which is Ollie Clark. He wasn't too far adrift. And fourth place, leading the next train through, was Patrick Degenbeck in kart 250. But another fascinating race there for the seniors, a race which was completed in just under 10 minutes. But Mark Kimber, your winner by a tenth of a second. Joe Van Splinteren comes through in second. Ollie Clark finishes in third for M Sport. Fourth place then for Patrick Degenbeck in the RS Motorsport machine. Fifth place for Thanapongpan Sotumnu, ahead of Dalla Arahawi. Jordan Brown Nutley got himself to 7th. Ida Cohen to 8th, his teammate just behind. Then we had Jan Philip Springer with Felix Vargo running out your top 10. Behind them we had Niels Colan, Ethan Hawke, and the second page of your screen included Nicholas Bart, Joe Ferreira, Patrick Hibble, Manhaf Hijawi, Ewan Long, and Marius Solly Poulsen was the final runner home in 18th place. But great stuff there from the seniors. Very, very close racing, and we've still got some of the other championship contenders to come out in the next senior heat, which follows here at the Sette Lage circuit in just over 5 minutes' time. But Mark Kimber can tick one off. That gives him 0 points.